Highlight the value of being consistent instead of just focusing on business grand gestures. Because who said business has to be boring?
I like that idea. Business doesn't have to be boring. It doesn't have to be started with handshakes only.
Network and connect. Go the extra mile with Alan and Erik.
Welcome to the Extra Mile. Today we're going to talk about business tips. There are a lot of tips out there, but if you summarize it to a few numbers of tips, it'll be wonderful for people to do networking.
Okay, have you ever been to business network and you just end up talking to a pot plant in the corner rather
Sure,
than
many
real people?
times.
Well, let's give you some ideas to turn you into a business networking dynamo.
Let's hear it.
So you talk to people and not plants. So today we're diving into 5 business tips that will turn your networking skills from awkward handshakes to deal closing dynamo, all with a touch of humor. Because who said business has to be boring?
I like that idea. Business doesn't have to be boring. It doesn't have to be started with handshakes only and awkward. But let's hear the tips. How do you do it?
Okay, first tip: build relationships and not transactions.
Mm.
It's a bit like dating. If you ask someone to marry you after one coffee, they'll run a mile.
Yeah,
The same goes for business. Build that relationship first.
I think that makes sense because relationships goes deep into a person's emotionally and makes sense.
The second tip is to give more than you take. Discuss the power of offering help or value before asking for something in return.
That's a hard one.
Yeah. Think of networking a bit like potluck dinners. If you show up with nothing but a fork,
Fork.
don't expect an invitation next time.
Absolutely. You don't want to show up like that. You don't want to start by looking at making transactions. You want to build relationship. I agree. It's not gonna be easy, but I agree.
Yeah, and my third tip is be consistent rather than flashy. Highlight the value of being consistent instead of just focusing on business grand gestures. For example, you don't need to be the loudest guy in the room, just the one that people rely on, not the one disappearing faster than the New Year's resolutions.
Yeah, consistency, I think it's very similar to branding yourself so that people will remember you for something. I agree with that. Definitely have to do that.
Yeah, the next tip is really to follow up like a pro.
Mm.
Timely and thoughtful follow up is essential. Send a thank you note or a message, preferably not 6 months later. It's business, not your dentist's annual checkup. Do it now.
I think that's a lot of effort, writing thank you note or following up immediately because not everyone can have a good impression on meeting new people, but I get it.
Just arrange a coffee meetup. That's easy enough. The final tip is to be authentic. So be authentic. Emphasize being yourself with a joke to lighten it. Make fun of yourself. Be yourself. Unless you're a really terrible person, then maybe work on that first.
Wow. So, in conclusion, there are a few tips that you're giving here that are, I think, not all of them are common, but a bit challenging at some points, but definitely doable and very interesting to try.
Yeah. So remember, build those relationships. Give more than you take. Stay consistent. Follow up like a pro. And be yourself.
Who knew networking could be this much fun?
Okay? Look like you mean it because you look as though you're very sad there. So, viewers, if you enjoyed this, please like, comment, and share. Tell us about your networking stories. Subscribe using the button below. If you've got a networking nightmare or a success story, drop it in the comments because misery loves company. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more tips served with a smile.
Definitely. Tell us your nightmares. That would be interesting.
So until next time, keep networking. And if you do end up talking to a plant, at least pick a nice one.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Till next time.